Action is back, and we welcome you to Muncie, Indiana for a battle of two 3-5 teams with serious bowl eligibility implications tonight. It's the Kent State Golden Flashes and the Ball State Cardinals from Schumann Stadium. And if you've been paying attention to action which kicked off last night, you know we are in the season of chaos. Ohio with a late winner last night against Miami, holding the Red Hawks in check, handing them their first loss of the season. So we've got a flurry of 1- and 2-loss teams, including these two teams tonight. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State captain, NFL vet. Dustin Fox. We've got two teams that in recent years have rarely been in this position, Dustin, to have meaningful football in November. They're both excited about the opportunity tonight.
There's no doubt. It's been since 2021. Both these teams, the last time they went to a bowl game. So we're looking at two teams tonight, 3-5, both 2-2 in conference play. One of these teams is most likely going to go to a bowl game, so it's big for both. And of course, Kent State, man, they just named a new coach, interim tag removed.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Mark Carney was the interim coach until just last week. This is what the team has accomplished under his short tutelage. Snapped the longest active losing streak in the FBS at 21 games. Their first FBS win since 2022 against UMass. That 18-point comeback 2 weeks ago against Bowling Green. And on the heels of that, naming Mark Carney the head coach. On the other side, Ball State. They're in the midst of a resurgent season as well under first-year head coach Mike Yuremovich, who loves the play of his dynamic quarterback Kyle Kelly.
Yeah, they really do. He's a redshirt senior, but they kind of feel like he's a redshirt freshman in their offense. Has never really been given the reins from the quarterback position where it's his team. Well, this year it is his team. Unfortunately for Kyle Kelly and for Ball State, this is going to be his last year. But boy, the last several weeks he's really settled into the position. And what they love about him is he's a true dual threat quarterback. And Mike Yuremovich, who comes from Butler, always wants to have a dual threat guy at the quarterback position. This gives him that added element.
Ball State won the toss, elected to defer. 3 out of the last 4 meetings between these two programs have resulted in a margin of victory of 7 points or less, and we are underway from Muncie. DeRillis Clark is cut down at his own 15. And so for the first time tonight, we will see first-year starting quarterback Drew DeShields had never taken a snap in college football prior to this season. He's been very good at protecting the football.
Yeah, he really has. And his story is unbelievable, Matt. The amount of adversity this young man has had to overcome to come back for this season and to be the starting quarterback, just tremendous. And Coach Carney loves his versatility and his attitude and the way he's handled everything.
As the Minnesota transfer Jordan Newman in the backfield, stacked up by Joey Stemler, returning starter for this Ball State defense under second-year defensive coordinator Jeff Knowles, who is back with Mike Yuremovich again. The two coached with each other at Butler, just down the road in Indianapolis. Second and 10. DeShields had it batted down and nearly intercepted by Alfred Che, the UConn transfer. We do expect the run game to be key for both teams today, particularly with DeShields feeling a little bit better on that hamstring.
Yeah, no doubt. And boy, he took a shot at the end of that play, Matt. Big time hit.
Start chirping. It is third down.
I think it was Starks, 42, came up with that lick on DeShields.
Pressure, quick throw is caught by Sebastian Brown near the line to gain, but maybe a yard short after the tackle by Ashton Whitner. And they will quickly get to the line to go for it on 4th and short.
At least try to draw him off sides, Matt.
They will go. And a little shove from the quarterback. Was it enough?
No. It was not.
On 4th down for Ball State.
Wow. That is so. And there's a flag now, Matt, on the field after the play.
game's call here by Mark Carney to go for it in his own territory.
That's a nice way to put it.
And how about the Ball State defense bowing up after they gave up 300 yards on the ground 2 weeks ago against NIU.
There's a runner short, behind the game. It'll be first down for Ball State. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 11, at Kent State. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So the penalty was an unsportsmanlike conduct after the play. It'll be Ball State football. And here's another look at the stop.
They said it was number 11, so if it was, they've got two number 11s. Christian Berry, the tight end, assuming he was who they were flagging on the play, it could have been somebody coming off the sidelines. But nonetheless, that's a huge stop, Matt, for Ball State. Talk about starting field position. They're starting inside the red zone. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Welcome to Maction.
Yeah, there you go.
Kyle Kelly, so dangerous in this situation. Bobbled the snap and then is corralled after a loss of about 1 by C.J. Young, the leading tackler for Kent State, whose defense was phenomenal in the 18-point comeback win against Bowling Green. Allowed just 7 points in the second half and only 42 yards of offense in the fourth quarter of that one.
By the way, just not that it matters, I kind of agree with going for that there.
It matters to me.
They didn't get it, so now you can, in hindsight 2020, that whole deal. But like 4th and 1, you quick snap it. They probably should have got it, but Ball State was ready.
Here's T.J. Horton on the stretch play, and another nice play by the Kent State defense. Stretch Carroll with the tackle.
Remember, both of these teams struggle offensively. These are two of the lower ranked offenses in the entire country, and that's putting it nicely. Kent State's offense 123rd in the nation. Ball State's offense comes in at 128th.
Four-man rush. Time for Kelly. Now extending the play and is nudged out of bounds at about the 7-yard line by Young. Now does Ball State bring the kick unit out? They will.
I think it's hard to not take the free 3 points here, considering Kent State basically just spotted you 3. But if you take a look back, there was a receiver open here at the bottom of the screen. That's going to be 88 Hamilton, Donovan Hamilton. He was open on that little sit-down route right inside the 5-yard line.
Well, they're going with a new place kicker tonight, DC Pippin from 25. And he puts it right down the middle. So Ball State takes advantage with short field position after the quick 4-and-out by Kent State. They lead 3-0. Well, tonight's star-studded NBA doubleheader on ESPN features Ant-Man and the T-Wolves finishing up a 3-game road trip against Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. Can the Knicks finally get over the hump this year? And then
Easy.
Luka,
I'm a Cavs fan. Sorry.
And Luka and the Lakers hosting the young star Wemby and the Spurs. The Knicks have lost in the Eastern Conference semis or finals in 3 straight years. You're hoping that continues.
Yeah, we're trying to get out of the second round, partner, in Cleveland.
Well, Kent State's offense is trying to get out of their own end. Remember last time they had the football, they decided to go for it on 4th and short. Turnover on downs resulted in a short field for Ball State. They now trail 3-zip.
Well, it's pretty much a win if you think about it from Kent State's perspective. You know, to turn the ball over on downs basically inside the red zone. You're spotting them points to hold them to 3. It's a great job by their defense. And really, I don't have a problem with Kearney being aggressive right there. It's 4th and 1.
A lot of window dressing on this play. Now DeShields is flushed. Sets, fires, and is caught, but was he in bounds? No. Great effort by Deshaun Martin. But they said he did not have his feet in bounds with the grab.
Yeah, that was a heck of an effort on the outside. And Matt, how about a throw? What a throw. We'll have to double check. Did he get this?
Our replay official tonight, Jason Boykin.
I think that's a catch, Matt.
This play is under review.
They're going to take another look at it upstairs.
The right foot was still down as he caught the football. I mean, he definitely caught the ball. The question is, did he have a foot down? And from that second look that we had, I think he did.
Well, he has been so electric this year. Deshaun Martin, primarily a kick returner. Last year as a true freshman, came in as a preseason all-conference return man. He's been their top wide receiver.
Well, they need to get him the ball more. I mean, I would argue, their most explosive playmaker they have on offense, outside of DeRillis Clark, who's kind of like their return specialist. But Deshaun Martin is an absolute baller and the most versatile wide receiver, and you can see his awareness here to get that right foot down, to keep it down while he's catching the ball.
Remember, ruled incomplete on the field. Looks like his foot is in bounds. Then the other question is, does he have control here as he goes to the ground? And I believe he satisfies that as well.
Well, Matt, while we have a moment, as we take a look at referee Rick Warren, we'd like to wish happy birthday to Rick today.
No place he'd rather be on his birthday than some midweek action.
We got there's no doubt about that. Got a couple messages about that today, so happy birthday, Mr. Warren.
After review,
he has the call.
The receiver completed the catch before going out of bounds. It'll be 1st down at the 50-yard line.
So it's a 25-yard reception by Deshaun Martin. And how about the effort by Drew DeShields as well, throwing across his body as he was being chased.
I was just going to say the same thing, Matt. Great point. His arm strength on that particular throw as he was being chased down from behind, incredible. Caden Johnson was there in with the pressure. Really impressive throw.
There's Gavin Garcia up the middle, shifting past tackler, stays on his feet, spins out of another tackle. And Gavin Garcia dragging tacklers inside the 25 with a gain of 27. Back-to-back explosive plays for the Golden Flashes.
One thing that always frustrates me as a former defensive player myself is when you're not the 2nd or 3rd guy in, like right there, 15, Fields, you're the first guy. You can't go for the football. You got to just make the tackle and get him on the ground. Instead, it allows Garcia to carry Fields and other defenders for another couple of yards, maybe 5 yards.
They go back to him, their lead rusher again this year after he was in 2023. Had a knee injury going into the season last year. Fully expected him to be the top running back. Part of a flurry of injuries that this program went through in an 0-12 season just 1 year ago. quite a remarkable turnaround under first-year head coach Mark Carney, as Newman squirts out the right side. That makes it third and manageable. He was named the interim head coach in April after the program let go of Kenny Burns, a player favorite. This is his first head coaching job of any kind at the collegiate level. Was last the offensive coordinator at Charlotte. Helped that program make their first and only bowl appearance in program history.
Carney, a former quarterback himself at Fordham back in the early 2000s.
3rd and 5. To Shields to the end zone. It is caught. Was he in bounds? No.
Boy,
And this might be reviewed again.
I think the one official was saying bobble, but no, now they're saying touchdown, Matt.
Wayne Harris on an 18-yard touchdown reception to take the lead. Wow. 2 exquisite throws on that drive by Drew DeShields.
The ruling on the field is
And
a touchdown.
fantastic
Previous
receiver
play is
work
under
as
review.
well.
Oh, there's no doubt. The field judge right there, and he looks almost confused as the ball was clearly caught and the foot's down. Unless I'm missing something, that's an easy.
Let's see if he gets his foot down. I think that's the question here. That left foot. Boy,
Oh no! You know what? I'm confused, Matt, because the end zone's black. I thought that the defender Whitner's foot was the receiver. So I'm up here out of my mind. The official was right on it. So yeah, that good job by getting this to review, because I thought that Whitner's leg was actually Harris's leg when it comes down. It was hard to tell. It was like a little, I don't know.
Optical illusion.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word or the phrase.
By Wayne Harris, who's been their top slot receiver this year. So the ruling on the field is a touchdown.
The ruling on the field is changed to an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down on the 18-yard line.
4th and 5, and they're not going to go for it here. They're going to bring the kick unit out.
What's so crazy is I think it was confusing to the official too. I'm just like kind of baffled, because that was one of the rare times that I've seen something like that, where it was that optical illusion there. Man.
So here's Will Harisco from 35. A flag is out. The kick is good. Now we'll see what the penalty is.
They're going to say it's on Kent State, which means they'll have to re-kick.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 74 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And the last thing you want to do if you're Mark Carney and a head coach of a college football program after you make a kick is to send your kicker back out and kick it again.
So that one was from 35. This will be from 40. And it will be the longest attempt of the season for Harisco. And he missed it. No good. After the penalty, backed him up to the 40.
I promise you I wasn't trying to jinx the young man, Matt, but I've just seen it too many times.
Timeout for media.
Being a college kicker is a fickle position. Some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield. 3-0 from Ball State.
There were 6 programs who had turned over the year before, and there were 6 new head coaches in the league. And I told you all at that time you had the best damn one. We agree, and we're going to remove the interim tag. Welcome your new head coach. Yeah.
This is a credit to you guys, right? And what you all have done for this football program. And this is like not the mission, right? This is not the mission. This is not what we set out to accomplish. So let's keep what we set out to accomplish.
That was just a handful of days ago. Meanwhile, first play after the missed field goal, a 35-yard run by Kyle Kelly. And that was the one player on Ball State's roster coming into this game that Mark Carney was most concerned about, and you just saw why.
Yeah, he's a true dual threat from that quarterback position, Matt. You know, his rushing yards on the season only has 86, but that does not account for the sack yardage in college football. So he is a real dynamic player out of the backfield from the quarterback position. Take a look back on that run, a design quarterback run, draw all day. And Kelly has wheels to take off and go, and that is exactly, as you said, Matt, something Mark Carney does not want to see.
To your point, if he hadn't had 160 yards worth of sacks, he'd be a top 5 rusher in the conference this year.
How about that?
And Quay Ashley is next to him in the backfield. Fake it to Ashley. Kelly sets up a long throw, and it looked low, and it was intended for Ty Robinson, the 3rd-year transfer from Colorado.
Well, Robinson wants him to take another look at it. And after my poor eyesight on the last touchdown that was overturned, I think I'll be I've lost my privilege to give any take on replays.
Trapped it.
Yep.
So that brings up 3rd and 9 just outside of the Kent State 40. They bring delayed pressure. Kelly is taken down in the backfield. A sack by Jahian Roy. One of their reserve DNs, and a loss of 7 will bring the punt unit out for Ball State.
Yeah, but really it was the pressure up the middle too. That was what really allowed the defense to converge. You said it, Roy was the first one really to get there, but then the pressure, the stunt on the outside, that's what gets home, and that's a big-time stop by the Kent State defense because the Kyle Kelly run seemed like they were going to get something going on that offensive drive.
Long punt here. Wayne Harris calls for a fair catch. I thought, yes, he did fair catch it, and I don't think he wished he would have because he tried to return it after waving the arm.
Yeah, the official there right on it. He definitely gave the wave.
Yeah, and that has been a point of emphasis this year for collegiate officials. A 43-yard punt by Adam Saul. Then again tonight, Kent State, for the 2nd time, will begin a drive inside their own 15. Less than 5 on the play clock for Drew DeShields. Gavin Garcia tried to bounce it outside and could not. Alfred Che was there to make sure he couldn't.
Alfred Che is a really fun player to watch on the Ball State defense, number 0, who's the leading tackler on this team. Right there in the middle of the defense around the hash mark, and you'll see he just gets in there and he just does a good job scraping, but when he makes the contact, he continues to drive his legs. Leading tackler on this Ball State defense.
DeJuan Eccles was in with the assist. Here's Jordan Newman. Positive yardage will make it 3rd and more manageable, but still a little bit behind the sticks. And that has been a theme this year for Kent State. They have been outscored 166 to 62 in first quarters. Jeff Knowles told us the one thing he was concerned about was limiting big plays. We've seen one big play already tonight from Kent State. This is a situation where maybe on 3rd and long they take a shot.
That's basically been their offense all year, Matt. That's how they've made their hay. They've only been inside the red zone 9 times all year,
including one on their last drive. To Shields, long throw is caught by Martin,
but he's short by 2 yards. He'll be right about the 15. Got to get, yeah, about 2 yards short of the line to gain. I think that they are tired of rolling the dice. They'll punt this one.
Saw them go for it on 4th and a long one, right around this position on the field on their opening drive of the game. Did not get it. Resulted in short field and a field goal for Ball State. Charlie Durkin on to punt it away. JoJo Lewis back at about the 50 for Ball State. And it takes a Ball State bounce. They will have starting field position in plus territory for the 2nd time tonight. And the Cardinals trying to go up 2 scores on our first midweek action on the U.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State national champ, Dustin Fox with you after the short punt by Kent State. Good starting field position for Ball State at the 50. Kyle Kelly, long throw intended for Keon Magwood and incomplete. Had our first college football playoff rankings reveal last night. Anything surprise you particularly in the top 12?
Not really. I mean, there's an argument over who should be #1. based on the analytics and, all the metrics. You and I had a chance, by the way, to go down to Dallas earlier this season and partake in the mock college football playoff selection process, which was very enlightening and taught us a lot about what goes into that process. It is a very difficult task, and I do not envy the folks that have to do that. We sat in the exact same room where they sat last night at the Gaylord Hotel. And yeah, I mean, there's an argument they had on the show last night as to whether Indiana, who beat Oregon on the road, A&M, big win over Notre Dame, all wins better than Ohio State has.
You would think.
Ohio State does have a Texas win.
You would think that Indiana and Ohio State would meet for the Big Ten championship, which would be that sort of tie-breaking game for those two teams who right now are ranked 1 and 2. But now 4th down and 5. Will Ball State keep their offense on the field? Sort of that in-between field goal and punt range here.
I mean, listen, if my offense were more successful in these situations, sure, I'd keep it out there. They're going to keep them out there, but I would punt this and pin Kent State deep inside the 10-yard line like he just did. Unless you force him to jump off sides here because it's 4th and 5. That would give you a first down.
There you go. Ball State offensive line pointing at the D-line of Kent State. Flag was thrown from the umpire, and now we'll see here as they get together.
Offside. Defense, number 6, entered the neutral zone, causing the offense to move. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Mason Maddox, number 6, right in the middle. There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's the right call. And Ball State smartly gets himself a freebie.
And already tonight, 2 major self-inflicted wounds for Mark Carney's team. They had illegal formation on a made field goal, had to re-kick and missed.
Took points off the board, yeah.
And now an offside that allows Ball State a fresh set of downs. Eric Weatherly in motion as a convoy. Flag comes in. Weatherly dragged down inside the 20. And the flag is back by the 40 after a gain of 20. This might be negated.
And you can see Donovan Hamilton, 88, talking to the official. It's going to be on him, holding.
Offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
You probably wonder why. How was the sideline so wide open on this play? Well, a little bit of a hold. There were some good blocks on the outside. I really thought that Tate Hoover did a good job. 84 is going to be in there. And you saw the tackle in the backfield by 88 on Joel Cordoba, excuse me.
Fake it to Ashley, try to set up a screen. How about a sidearm sling there by Kyle Kelly? Found Weatherly to turn that into a positive gain.
Yeah, that was a nothing play that ends up gaining 6 yards. So you get a little bit of the penalty yardage back. You're still in relatively good field position here inside Kent State territory, but it's still 2nd and 14.
Now, Kyle Kelly really in his first year as the primary starter, despite being a 5th-year senior. Started 6 games at quarterback 2 years ago, hopped in the portal, was brought back as a quote-unquote athlete. Played 4 different positions on offense last year. Won the starting job this year, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Donovan Hamilton. But you mentioned it. Mike Yuremovich coming over from Butler, where he had a top 25 offense in the FCS. Loves the dual threat quarterback. And certainly Kyle Kelly is that and much more as he continues to grow in this new offense.
Yeah, but the only problem is, he's still growing, but he's a 5th-year senior, redshirt senior, so those growing pains that the team has to go through, they don't get to reap the benefits of him coming back for another season, where he already learned from all these mistakes.
Buys time here. Steps up and throws. It's caught. for a first down. Ty Robinson with the stick route and a few extra yards after the catch, a gain of 21 to move the chains.
And this is some of the experience I'm talking about here, because watch as he pauses here. As he's rolling out, like he just lets the receiver about a half a second more get open before he throws the ball, and then he's wide open. It was a great timing play and a good decision by Kelly to not force the throw, let it develop. And once it did, he makes the great throw and catch and a big conversion on a 3rd and 14.
Design quarterback run. Kelly up the middle. Carried a few tacklers, gained 7. Well, Mike Yuremovich told us the bye week was great for Kyle Kelly, who will have to come off the field for one play after his helmet popped off. Aiden Leffler, their redshirt junior from Indianapolis, will come in.
See, I'd call timeout here and bring my starter back in. 2nd and 3. The offense has enough issues as it is. Now, second half, different story. Timeouts are obviously more important in the second half, but nonetheless, Leffler's going to come in for a snap.
And hand it to Quay Ashley, who was stopped just shy of the line of game. Will bring up 3rd and less than a yard for Ball State.
And back in comes Kyle Kelly.
Just short of the line of game.
Had 2 interceptions in their loss to NIU 2 weeks ago. It was a game that they felt they could have won. Their defense forced 3 turnovers. Offense wasn't quite good enough. Went into the bye week, did some self-reflection, cut the playbook down a little bit to get Kyle Kelly even more comfortable with the menu. And now a big 3rd and 1 here on the edge of the red zone. Kelly up the middle. Believe he has enough for the first down, and the extra push will give him a stick moving run to continue the drive.
And just barely going to get the first down. And I believe, Matt, that should take us to the end of the quarter.
A 3-0 lead for Ball State, thanks to a 4th down stop deep inside Kent State's territory on their opening drive.
The first quarter.
So far, the only points. It's the Golden Flashes and the Cardinals. First week of midweek action and bowl eligibility implications on the line tonight. Well, Mike Yuremovich took the Ball State head coaching job after 3 winning seasons at Butler over the last 3 years. An FCS program just down the road in Indianapolis. First time they had had 3 straight winning seasons since the 80s. And now has Ball State in contention for a bowl. And there's Quay Ashley.
He stepped out of bounds.
Stepping out of bounds at the 3.
The official right there on it. He tries to make that jump cut with that R1 button, and as he does, he goes right on the white.
But it's now 1st and goal to go inside the 5 for Ball State, taking advantage of excellent starting field position. They got it at the 50 to begin this drive. Spanning back to late in the 1st. Kelly, end zone. There was contact there. And no flags.
Boy, a lot of contact there on that play. They're trying to find Magwood. The coverage was Derek Jackson, 31. It was a kind of a bang-bang play. As Jackson gets there, it looks like he's going to run right through the body of Magwood, but then almost perfect timing turns that head back around, and I think that's probably why the flag was not thrown.
12th play of this Ball State drive. Kelly dancing near the goal line. Is he in? No. The spot has him short of the goal line, but inside the 1. Is this 4-down territory for Mike Yuremovich?
I would say yes, 100%. And the reason being, you don't get this many opportunities to get this close to the end zone. Neither one of these teams have these opportunities. 2 of the lowest red zone trip teams in the nation. Ball State just gets to the red zone. It's the 16th trip this year. 17th trip because they were down there the first drive, but that's 125th in the country.
3 tight end set, flip to Horton. He is in for a touchdown. 10, make it 9-zip. Ball State. First touchdown of the year for TJ Horton, makes it a 2-score game.
Horton here's a who on his first house call of the year. Funnily enough, you and I were talking before the game about Horton and how he had not been in the end zone thus far this season, and ironically enough, there he is, making his debut.
DC Pippin on for the extra point. On a 10-0 start for the Ball State Cardinals at home.
Little end around and a house call from Mr. Horton. What do they say in Muncie? Chirp, chirp. 10-zip from Muncie.
Big slate this Saturday on ABC and the all-new ESPN app. Top 10 showdown in the Big 12. College game day will be in Lubbock. Then at 3:30, Missouri and Texas A&M off to their best start since 1992. Can LSU, under interim head coach Frank Wilson, spoil the party in T-Town? That is our primetime game on Saturday night. After the bobbled catch, the return out to the 20 for Kent State, and that is where Drew DeShields will begin the first drive of the second quarter for the team from Kent, Ohio, and it has not been a pretty start for the Flashes.
Well, they've had some opportunities. They've had a couple of big plays. They had obviously a missed field goal after they had a made field goal. There was a penalty in illegal formation on the made attempt. They ended up missing the ensuing try. And they had a touchdown come off the board via review.
Fake to Gavin Garcia. Drew DeShields using his wheels and is brought down from behind after a gain of 8. We expect to see more of that tonight from Drew DeShields. Missed the Oklahoma game a handful of weeks ago with a hamstring injury. It's the best it's felt, Dustin, since that injury.
Right. I mean, this is a guy who's had so many injuries. 3 ACL tears on the same knee. And for him to even have any sort of mobility, and he has quite a bit of it, by the way. You saw it right there on that last play. Is impressive, and it speaks to the toughness this young man has.
Speaking of toughness, how about that tackle by Michael Gravely Jr. from the safety spot? Loss of a couple.
He had so many rehabs to go through, and this is a look back at the most recent one. I mean, that knee, to be able to come back this many times, Matt, they weren't even sure he wanted to play football anymore, but he assured Coach Carney after his last ACL tear that he was coming back. Great story.
The day after he tore it for the 3rd time and said, I will be back. Here is my plan to get back. And this plan to convert on 3rd down, a successful one out near midfield. The catch by Christian Berry and a gain of 21.
Again, chunk plays. That's where Kent State can beat you.
Their first 3rd down conversion of the night extends the drive.
I mean, it really is an all or nothing situation for this offense as you see the timeline of all of those ACL injuries dating back to 2022. I mean, the guy just could not catch a break with that right knee.
The last 2 tears came on the first day of camp each of the last 2 years. DeShields was hit. But a completed pass again to Christian Berry for double digits. And another stick-moving catch for the transfer from Davidson.
Good job there in the backfield by Newbin. Jordan Newbin with the blitz pickup. You know, this offense, Matt, as we prepared, and you're seeing it tonight. It's like 1 yard, 1 yard, 2 yards, lose 2, then gain 25. I mean, that is how explosive they can be. And that's the concern for Jeff Knowles, the defensive coordinator of Ball State. He said to us this week when we chatted with him, it's like, hey, if we can keep things in front of us and not let things get out the gate, we'll be fine. But this is where, I mean, he talked about it too with us. DeShields will look off to the sidelines and make checks at the last moment if he sees something that can get him in a better position. And there you go, another 1st down or close to it.
They will move the chains on the catch and run by Wayne Harris, whose 21 catches this year led the team coming into the night. So many weapons on the outside too for Drew DeShields, and that wasn't a known thing coming into the year. They lost Krishan McCray and Luke Floria, 2 all-conference wide receivers. Very inexperienced and unproven wide receiver room who has risen to the occasion this year. Play action on 1st and 10. DeShields has a seam and gave himself up
Twice down.
At about the 23-yard line. Best drive of the game so far for Kent State. They had an opportunity to score 3 earlier in the night, but an illegal formation penalty pushed them out of field goal range. Toss to Garcia. And he is strung out by the second level of Ball State.
All right, now you definitely have got 2 opportunities to pick up this first down. It's 3rd and 2. I wouldn't feel comfortable, frankly, bringing the field goal kicker out again, unless it was, you know, kind of game on the line situation. So yeah, opportunities here to try and get inside the red zone again for the Golden Flashes.
They give it to Newman, and their 215-pound transfer out of the Big Ten moves the chains. Began his career at Minnesota as a walk-on safety, earned a scholarship as a running back, and is now rotating in as one of 2 primary backs with Gavin Garcia at Kent State.
Kenny Burns, who was the previous head coach, spent a lot of time at Minnesota with PJ Fleck. So you see some players who are on this roster who did spend time with the Golden Gophers. That's the connection there.
And a false start's going to back up the Golden Flashes.
False start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That was on their backup right guard, Boston Crowell. Jose Kimbrough in at running back. First time we've called his name tonight. Play clock at 1. And they did not get it off, but a timeout was called. No.
5-yard penalty. First down.
I'm going to say a delay of game. Back-to-back penalties on Mark Carney's team. A hold, rather a false start, and then a delay of game.
Both pre-snap.
Self-inflicted wounds in the first half against Bowling Green were an issue.
That's 4 now pre-snap penalties by Kent State.
Fake it to Kimbrough. To Shields. Incomplete on the far sideline, brings up 2nd and long. Intended for Ardell Banks Jr. Will Yates with the coverage on the back end for Ball State. Their top cover corner for a defense that's given up a lot of yards this year, but they've been sort of bend don't break.
Well, and that's the thing. There's only 2 stats that they care about, Matt. It's turnovers and touchdowns. Talking about getting them, giving away the football, and then in terms of like getting to the red zone, you want to score touchdowns and you want to prevent your opponent from getting in the end zone. Field goals are fine.
Kimbrough taken down after a gain of 2 or 3. But now 3rd and very long for this Kent State offense.
Reminded me a lot of my defensive coordinator, Mark D'Antonio, when I was at Ohio State. Always preached kind of the bend but don't break. Like, we were always fine with giving up field goals because we tightened up the defense when you got inside the red zone and the space becomes limited. And that's Jeff Knowles' philosophy as well in the back end here with Ball State. The defensive coordinator, Jeff Knowles, not the other Jeff Knowles.
3rd and 17. DeShields running away from pressure, has to get rid of it. And his intended target was not ready for the pass. Incomplete.
So this will be interesting, Matt, because now you're going to bring out a kicker who just missed a 40-yard attempt. This will only be the 6th attempt of a field goal this year by Kent State. And so this one, they're going to call it what?
40
yards again.
No, they're going to call it 39, which matches his season-long make. Missed from 40 on the right hash in the first quarter. Kick is away. And it is good for Will Harisco. Kent State on the board. 7-point game in Muncie. 6:18 to play in the first half.
Play clock down to 3. They get it off from the 49. Second down. Navarro scrambling as he has been so many times tonight. Lofts it up for grabs. Harris has it. Inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown.
What a call there by Clay Matvick. Chase Daniels on the call as well last night as Ohio wins the Battle of the Bricks 24-20. A back and forth fourth quarter last night. How about the Zips too? 44-10. Tonight over at the Glass Bowl, Toledo 14-3 on top of NIU. Mr. Schumacher?
Big win for Ohio last night. That was a rematch of last year's MAC championship game.
I was surprised. You know, you would think that Miami would have obviously revenge on their mind. They split last year. We'll talk a little more action on the other side of this quick timeout from Muncie.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
You can watch both Maction games in action tonight with the multi-view feature of the new ESPN app. Meanwhile, back here in Muncie, a 7-point lead for Ball State after a 39-yard field goal by Will Harisco put Kent State on the board. Kyle Kelly, first year as the primary starter for Ball State. A slow start. It's gotten better as the game has gone along.
No, it really has. I mean, the season has gotten better as it has gone along, as he gets to become a little bit more comfortable from the quarterback position. And remember, the last time that they played a game, Matt, was October 25th. So they've had kind of that mini bye built in, which I always think helps a quarterback trying to adjust to a system. And Kyle Kelly, even though he's a senior, he's still a young player at the position.
Runs away from the blitz, escaped one tackle, but not the second. Will bring up third down. All of his coaches talk about Kyle Kelly being a film junkie, loves football, so desires to get Ball State back to a bowl game. Haven't been since 2021, particularly as the guy for the first time in his career. And now an ensuing 3rd and 6. 5 minutes left in the opening half here in Muncie. Both teams 2-2 in MAC play entering the night.
That's got to be some sort of flag. It looked like Kent State was offsides, Matt.
Whole left side of their D-line.
I mean, you could just, how about say the left side?
Offside. Defense, number 95, enter the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So it goes from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 1 here.
I was going to say our legendary spotter, Rich Gaynor, with the great call. He pointed at 95 immediately. That's why they pay him the big bucks.
These self-inflicted wounds for Kent State have been a real issue tonight. Illegal formation backed them up from a 35-yard field goal to a 40. They missed it. They had a defensive penalty on Ball State's last drive, helped them score a touchdown, and now here 3rd and 1, and it results in a 1st down.
I believe I count 5 pre-snap penalties, both offensively, defensively, and special teams combined.
And they've really all been
costly,
major.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ball State's last touchdown drive was the longest drive of the season, 13 plays over 6 minutes. You talked about it, Dustin. This year, these two offenses have really been big play hitters.
If you want to get into the weeds with some of the analytical numbers, the EPA, and all those things that a lot of the people care about, they don't sustain drives. And it's really difficult for these offenses to stay on the field. So that was an impressive drive, you're right.
Check down to Eric Weatherly. And maybe a late hit here on the near sideline. No flags. Weatherly, the excellent wide receiver out of Bucknell, led the Patriot League in receiving yards last year. Well, that seemed late to me. CJ Young with the pop.
Certainly did.
Kelly, so elusive.
He really
you think
is.
you got him trapped, and he somehow wiggles out.
It was like he was in the A gap, and then he kind of bounced back out, and then squirts right back in to pick up a couple of extra yards. Now 3rd and 5.
Well, he just passed Riley Neal for 2nd place all time in rushing by a Ball State quarterback. Over 1,370 yards rushing in his career. 3rd and 5. Still all 3 timeouts left for Ball State, plus the 2-minute timeout. Kelly throwing on the run low, but was it caught by Robinson? Yes. And it moves the chains past midfield.
It was caught. It was another one of those close calls. Kelly's had a couple of those balls that it just look like they're sailing into the turf. And I'm surprised they're not even going to look at that one. That was close. And another pre-snap penalty. Will it go against Kent State? No, I think this one's going to be a false start, Matt. At least that's the initial call.
Looked like Ball State was trying to line up quickly to not allow for a second look at that catch.
Agreed.
There's no foul because the previous play is under review to check on the catch.
Well, maybe that got buzzed down before the snap, and so they will go take a closer look at this. This will be the second review of the night.
Well, if it's a catch by Ball State, then they actually they get bailed out because it would be 1st and 15.
Well, Mike Yuremovich is arguing that the play happened before they could have potentially gotten a review down. So I'm chasing down one of the side judges. This is what they are looking at upstairs. And remember, the call on the field is a completed catch.
That official right there has got a great view from the opposite angle.
How about these last two drives for Ball State? 13 plays on their last drive resulted in 7. That third down conversion as it stands right now, the 6th play of this drive. We have not yet seen them sustain consecutive drives like this year.
And they're doing a great job playing keep away and keeping Kent State's offense off the field, even though they have that quick strike offense. And by the way, no lead is safe. Ask Bowling Green.
Ask any team that's ever played in Maction. You know that better than anybody.
Yeah, fair point. You and I called that awesome Toledo Bowling Green game earlier this season at the Doit.
What was that, a 21-point comeback for Bowling Green?
Indeed.
And then, of course, they just gave up an 18-point lead 2 weeks ago to this Kent State team. Can happen to anybody on any given night in this league.
Anything can happen on any given Wednesday in action. I try to tell you all the time, because I've been doing these games for well over a decade. I love it. I live in the MAC footprint, so I know all these schools, and I really do enjoy it. But I've seen some crazy things throughout the years.
So the key here to get back to this play is that the rule on the field was a completed catch. It has to be clear and obvious to overturn.
The ruling on the field is changed to an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down on the 42-yard line.
Given field position here, 4th down and 5 or so for Ball State. Do you think about going for it? And Mike Yuremovich says no, he's bringing his punt unit out here.
No, there's no way. You have to punt the football here with just the 2 minutes left to go. If they can do a good job limiting those explosive plays from Kent State in just the final 2 minutes, they'll be fine. I mean, Kent State's offense is just, you know, at times stuck in the mud as their own offense has been this season. So we'll see. They'll probably, you know, go 80 yards in the next play.
Wayne Harris has that ability, the punt returner here, but first a flag. And it's going to be a false start backing up the punt unit for Ball State.
False start. Offense. Number 48. 5-yard penalty. 4th down. Timer. Please reset the game clock to 2:05. Thank you.
Might actually help him because that was not a great punt. Yeah, top of the screen.
Sam Feeney trying to get a head start.
Much better punt with hang time here.
And Harris fair catches it inside his own 30. That will take us to the 2-minute timeout. A chance to tie on the ensuing drive for Drew DeShields and the Kent State Golden Flashes. Buddy the Elf and Santa Claus. First week of action here in November.
Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus.
Well, here comes week 10 of your NFL Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, previews of each game right up to kickoff on ESPN.
I feel like the day after Halloween is over, Christmas is on. Let's go.
Those are quintessential action outfits.
Absolutely.
All right, 1st and 10 after the punt by Ball State. A chance for Kent to tie the game on this
play on
drive.
the outside by Lewis. Joe Edric Lewis, what a play to beat the block. You know, listen, I get excited when I see a corner do this. You beat 2 blocks and you come up and make a stop, a tackle for loss behind the line of scrimmage. What a job by Lewis. Sorry, partner.
One of 33 transfers this year. Came from the FCS level. Missed all of last year with an injury at SEMO. Balling out this year for Ball State. Long throw from the Shields is incomplete. Now if you're Ball State, you got all 3 timeouts. 3rd and long upcoming. You're thinking we can get this football back and drive down the field for another score.
The question is, will Kent State decide to put the ball in the air one more time? Which would, of course, if it's an incomplete pass, save Ball State a timeout, or do they go to the ground game, maybe a draw, a screen, something more, a little more conservative that would force Ball State to use one of their remaining timeouts?
Ball State gets the football to start the second half.
Kent State's already converted one of these 3rd and 14s.
They do keep it conservatively on the ground. Will Ball State call a timeout? They will. So they'll have 2 after the punt.
Is that the first time we've
Ball
called
State,
Nathan Boris's name
first charge
tonight?
timeout.
I believe so.
30-second timeout.
Second leading sack man in the entire country behind David Bailey of Texas Tech.
He is an NFL talent according to this Ball State coaching staff.
Well, David Bailey's going to be a 1st-round pick, and they think that Boris, judging by the interest that they've had coaches in and scouts in almost every team,
Ball State
and
has
somewhere
2 timeouts
between
left.
mid to late round pick.
Please correct the scoreboard.
And if he doesn't get drafted, certainly will be in a camp. You don't darn near lead the nation in sacks and not get a look. I mean, Boris has had an awesome season, and of course, another guy, Mike Uremovich, excuse me, would like to have back for another year. Unfortunately, he's a senior as well.
Charlie Durkin on the punt. JoJo Lewis, who made that excellent stop at the corner position on the first play of the drive. Back to receive. Low line drive punt. Lewis will field it on a hop. Makes 3 men miss. And then got stacked up by a plethora of Kent State players. And some chippiness after the play on the Ball State sideline. So Mike Uremovich's offense, which is explosive, will have 62 seconds and 2 timeouts and great starting field position after the short return by Lewis, which ended with some extracurriculars. That was a whole lot of nothing over there.
Yeah, that was like one of those like bench clearing brawls. It's not a brawl. It's just, you know, a bunch of guys running in there and seeing what's going on.
Kelly had that ball batted. 2nd and 10. Mason Woods was in there. The 2nd-year transfer from Towson. Was an FCS freshman All-American there.
And Ball State does get the football to start the second half, so that opportunity for the double dip is still on the table.
They're about 30 yards away from field goal range as it stands right now. Kelly trying to chip away at that. Maybe one extra move too many brings up third down after the tackle by Jamon Mathis. Ball State electing not to call a timeout here.
This is one of those like downs where it's kind of a cat and mouse situation because Kent State's kind of unsure of themselves whether they want to call timeout. They're seeing what Ball State wants to do, and right around 30 seconds or so, they'll probably snap this, and then if they get a first down, then they'll obviously hurry up and try to get in field goal range.
Kelly takes a shot, far sideline, has a man, and it's batted down. Excellent coverage on the outside by Terrell Miller, the fifth-year senior.
That was great coverage as Miller is able to get that head around and break up this pass. This would have been a heck of a catch that would have made SportsCenter top 10. It would have been one of those like catch over the defender deals. Donovan Hamilton, the intended target.
One of those you got mossed deals.
Absolutely. Did you see that catch, by the way, by Jeremiah Smith over the weekend? That's a you got mossed. Although he didn't really moss anybody. It was just great concentration to snag the football.
Takes a Kent State bounce. Not much time here, only 12 seconds. Mark Carney's team has the ability to score on one play. You think about where their points have come from this year. 7 of their 18 touchdowns have come on plays of 20 yards or more.
Oh, they've got the timeouts. Not that those matter. You only need one with 12 seconds. Try to pick up 30 yards quick, right? Or at least get something where you can get across midfield, hit the timeout, huddle up, and then run a Hail Mary.
After the 19-yard punt, they start at their own 41. DeShields taken down in the backfield. There is Nathan Voris with his 11th sack of the season. And it slams the door on the end of the first half in Muncie.
This is the end of the second quarter.
Right on cue. We just talked about him the last drive. Had been quiet thus far in this first half. And not quiet the last minute of the first half. A big stop on the previous drive and now a sack to put him at 11 on the season.
Kent State trails by 7 at the end of the first frame in Muncie. Both teams with bowl eligibility dangling in front of them. A win tonight would be huge moving forward down the road the rest of the season.
applause, Cardinal fans. We know the angels up in the clouds are jealous, knowing we found Alex Warren in something so out of the ordinary.
Midweek action in Muncie, Indiana between a pair of 2-2 clubs. Still hopes of reaching a bowl game. Neither has been since 2021. Two first-year head coaches leading resurgent programs in a one-score game at the half. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, the NFL vet, former Ohio State captain Dustin Fox. These two offenses, not the most prolific, but certainly have the ability to be explosive. Didn't really see that much in the first half.
No.
How does each get going, Fox?
It was kind of a blah first half offensively.
Yeah.
Neither team did much, didn't do much on third downs. It's a 10-3 game, but Kent State could easily come back and win this game. They came back from 18 a week ago against Bowling Green. The one thing, though, those 6 penalties, they were all crucial penalties. Like, the yardage doesn't really matter because half of those gave first downs to Ball State. And so that's an issue that they've got to clean up here in the second half. Obviously, Ball State's going to get the football. But it was a fun first half, kind of uneventful. The big plays came from Kent State's offense in the passing game. And, of course, Cade Wolford, who we didn't call his name too much in the first half. He's the one big play guy, second in the country with 26 yards per reception. If they want to maybe get involved offensively to make some more big plays, that's the guy to go to.
And Darius Clark had that touchdown pass in the comeback win to seal the victory 2 weeks ago against Bowling Green for Kent State. But first we'll see the Ball State offense led by Kyle Kelly. And they go to the ground on first down. Nothing doing for Quay Ashley. The one touchdown drive for Ball State was the most uncharacteristic touchdown drive of the year for the Cardinals. It went 6+ minutes, 13 plays, both season longs for first-year head coach Mike Uremovich and his offense. Design run for Kelly. Trying to sift his way through the defense. Got a few extra yards.
Somehow he ends up just getting an extra, like you said, 2 or 3. Just kind of squirms through the line of scrimmage and slithers his way.
And he is hobbly after that tackle.
Yeah, you know, we saw something in the first half. He did go to the tent briefly at one point. And in that leg, he almost looks a little ginger even planting on that leg.
Something to keep an eye on. Here's 3rd and 5. Pressure off the edge. Pass is caught. It's Donovan Hamilton out near midfield. A gain of 19.
But here, look again at Kyle Kelly. Even after the throw, he's gimpy.
And of course, the run game, such a huge part of his game. And this offense, Dustin, they are a multiple offense, and having a dual threat quarterback is key to that.
No question. So that element of the offense would certainly be hindered if he's not 100%.
First down at midfield. Fake it to Ashley. And down goes Kelly with a sack, the second of the game for Kent State's defense.
Well, and that's something that, you know, Ball State's going to have to keep an eye on here in terms of their play calling, because that long drop back with clearly the limited mobility he's kind of facing right now, you can't do that. He can't get out of there. I mean, that's just great defense by Kent State and then a limited quarterback. So 2nd and about Carmel here, Matt. Your neck of the woods.
Definitely favoring that right leg. Swing pass to Quay Ashley. Has a good blocker, but a nice tackle on the backside by Terrell Miller, who has been excellent at the corner position tonight. Makes it 3rd and long.
5-yard gain on the play.
It's been a roller coaster season for Ball State. They defeated defending MAC champ Ohio. Then they lost 42-0 to Western Michigan. Then hung 42 on Akron. Coming off a bye week after a 21-7 home loss to NIU.
The previous play is under review for potential targeting.
Wow. We're going to go to review for the 4th time tonight. This one will be for a potential targeting, which clearly was buzzed down. Our replay official on site tonight, Jason Boykin, Kendall Miller. It's Kanan Williams right there. The Ball State player was a defenseless player. He's on the ground. The play was called dead. To me, that's one indicator that could have possibly led to the buzz down by Jason Boykin. Obviously,
I mean, it wasn't anything that was like egregious or vicious or anything like that. Like, I saw that and I kind of almost rolled my eyes a little bit, to be honest with you.
Well, one of the other indicators is forcible contact to the head or neck area.
Yeah.
I don't think that qualifies. It was almost like Kanan Williams was sort of letting up at the end of that play, but his momentum carried him in.
I love my fellow Buckeyes, but if that's targeting and Caleb Downs was not targeting, I don't know what targeting is.
Our official tonight, Rick Warren.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. There's no targeting. They're down.
And so we play on. 3rd and 16 for Ball State. Kyle Kelly has been a little bit hobbly on this opening drive of the second half for Ball State. Did spend a brief amount of time in the injury tent in the first half.
And Matt,
but remained in the game.
This is a guy who carried the ball 12 times for 60 yards in the first half. So that's pretty much their entire offense.
4-man rush underneath. Might have been batted at the line of scrimmage. Pass was well behind the intended wide receiver.
I think it was. And it might have been Mason Woods who got a paw on the football. It doesn't matter. 4th and long, and Ball State's going to have to punt. And a really nice job for Kent State to get off the field after Ball State did get the 1 first down. But the story now, Matt, is Kyle Kelly and his health, because if he's not able to come back in this game, or if he does come back in the game and he's hobbled, severely limits what the Cardinals can do offensively.
Wayne Harris is going to pick this up off the roll at his own 15. Breaks a couple of tackles, gets out near the 30. Kyle Kelly just exited the field and went into the medical tent on the Ball State sideline. We will keep you abreast of his status as the game unfolds. Kent State's first drive of the second half when we return for some action in Muncie.
Timeout on the field.
Here's our Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup. Jalen Hurts, the 6-2 Eagles, coming off a bye, taking on Jordan Love and the Packers. Lambeau Field, 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app, plus Peyton and Eli, 8 Eastern on the Deuce. After the punt on the opening drive of the second half for Ball State. Good starting field position for Drew DeShields. Takes a long throw downfield. He was looking for Martin, but out of play as DeShields was forced out of bounds.
Yeah, he had Martin for a moment, and he tries to force the throw down the field, Matt, but I honestly think he could have just took off and ran easily for the first down. Like he had about maybe 15 yards of green grass in front of him, but he tries to take for the deep shot, obviously, trying to make something happen.
Has been hobbled by a hamstring injury this year that forced him out of the Oklahoma game in September. Here's a carry to Jordan Newman, the Minnesota transfer. 3rd and long upcoming for an offense that didn't really have a whole lot going in that first half. Just 79 passing yards for DeShields, less than 50 yards on the ground. They're a team that is coming off a comeback victory against Bowling Green, erased an 18-point second half deficit to get to 2-2 in conference play. DeShields was hit on 3rd and 7, but got his man downfield. It's Wayne Harris taken out at the 25 on a monster shot by Fields.
What a hit by Fields, but Matt, this throw by Drew DeShields, off the charts. I mean, he has a rocket for an arm. It's a great throw. He's off his back foot. He's got pressure in his face, and he delivers the strike down the field. And man, Wayne Harris, I know he's about 5'9", 160 pounds, takes a lick in the back end from the 200-pound safety.
Biggest play of the game for either team, 52 yards. Here's Gavin Garcia trying to outrun the defense.
Heck of a job.
JoJo Lewis was there for the tackle. And so was Joey Stemler. But JoJo Lewis cleaned it up at the end.
Stemler's the linebacker, 21, who I thought was not going to be able to get Garcia. Garcia had the edge, and a really good job by Stemler getting the shoestring.
Pressure up the middle. DeShields a dart. And a first down catch for Hunter Hopperton, their 3rd tight end. Boy, that a little bit banged up in that room.
Matt, this was like the old Bernie Kosar sidearm Mahomes style throw by Drew DeShields. Again, the pressure is coming by Ball State. They're just not getting home. Look at the arm angle. Kind of little sidearm.
3rd trip inside the red zone tonight for Kent State. Both times, due to penalties, they were backed up outside of the red zone, even after getting in. One resulted in a made field goal, the other a miss for Mark Carney's team, who was in the red zone for just the 10th time this season. As Dustin talked about a lot in the first half, they have been an offense that's relied on the big play. 54-yard reception got them into this point. They need 7 here.
Out of the 10 times they've been inside the red zone, Matt, only 5 touchdowns.
Snap was a little bit off. And that forced the exchange to be a little bit off, too, between DeShields and Newman. Darren Conley was in for the tackle, 3rd and long.
Stop by Ashton Whitmer. Into Juan Eccles. Bit of a yard. Cardinals fans, start chirping. It is 3rd down. 3rd down and 8.
3rd and 8 design run. DeShields is hammered at the line of scrimmage. Alfred Che, the UConn transfer and leading tackler for this Ball State defense, was in there first.
DeShields on the carry.
Now does Mark Carney keep his offense on the field? It appears he will.
I don't know about this call. I mean, the percentages of your offense thus far this season, the stats don't back up going for this.
They are 10 for 20 this year on 4th down, 0 for 1 tonight. DeShields, end zone incomplete, and there was nobody near that throw, and it results in the 2nd turnover on downs forced by Ball State tonight.
A positive drive results in no points. Devastating for the Golden Flashes. I just don't know what this play design was. It had no chance, and Kent State comes away with nothing. Still 10-3 from Muncie.
Well, a 4th down and 8 inside the red zone results in no points for Kent State. Dustin Fox, Mark Carney electing to go for it instead of taking the points, and they remain in a 7-point hole.
And we can go back and take a look at the play. You know, they're just trying to find this little double move down the seam. Good job by Ball State, but to come away with nothing there, Matt, is the bigger story, because if you take the 3, it's 10-6. Okay, both these teams struggle on offense. Another touchdown may do it for Kent State. You could win the game potentially 13-10 or something like that. So now, I mean, you're still down the touchdown, and we saw the entire first half and the struggles of this offense. That was a great drive. I don't know. I just think from if I was on that sideline right now, I'd be, you know, a little disappointed that we didn't get any points.
2nd down, almost intercepted. The ball was batted down by Jamon Mathis, the defensive end, who had dropped back into coverage. Now 3rd and 8 upcoming.
That is a big man dropping into coverage, 6'3", 250, and it hits him, you know, in a bad spot, right in his hands. I mean, goodness gracious, I'm being sarcastic. That should have been intercepted.
Mark Carney's defense trying to bail them out after their 3rd trip in the red zone today resulted in no points, and they will. 3rd sack of the game for the Golden Flashes.
Kyle Kelly is just not himself right now, Matt.
Must sit up for one play for losing his helmet.
He does not have the ability to plant that leg. And look at how gimpy he is coming off the field. This is something we've got to keep an eye on here. And if you're Ball State, do you consider going to your backup, Aiden Leffler, who did come in the game earlier when Kelly's helmet was removed?
Adam Saul on the punt.
But first order of business is being able to get this punt out of the end zone.
The 4th consecutive punt for Adam Saul. Will get it out from deep in his own zone, but this is fielded at the 35 by Harris. Made a couple of men miss. Harris still going now with blockers. Harris down the far sideline. And he is twisted out of bounds inside the 10.
And just like that, Kent State has the football back, 1st and goal.
A 23-yard punt return for Wayne Harris, and was ultimately edged out by the punter, Adam Saul.
He nearly runs into his own man, Boma, and then Boma ends up becoming a blocker in front of him. A great return by Harris. And all right, it's like that last drive never happened.
Well, this drive starts where the last drive ended.
I'm just saying. I mean, they're yeah. There we go. Now, not to say they'd have the ball here this quickly had they taken the field goal, but they would have it, you know,
Gavin Garcia on the carry.
6 points on the board, and they would be looking to take the lead now instead of trying to tie the game.
That missed field goal in the first quarter as well.
I think you got to move the pocket here with DeShields, and give him something where he can try to find somebody in the flat, a crossing pattern, but also the option for him to run.
They have their short yardage back. Donovan Delaney Jr. into the game. Direct snap it to him. He rumbles in for a touchdown. And the Golden Flashes are an extra point away from a tie game in Muncie.
Well, the young man who played 3 seasons at Rutgers, Matt, has had a little impact on this offense thus far this season. His first touchdown of the year, only his 15th carry of the season. And it couldn't have come at a bigger time. What a play design by Kent State. And you know that scene in Dumb and Dumber, you know, like when they're riding the scooter and they say, you know, you go and totally redeem yourself. Well, Coach Carney totally redeemed himself there as we've got a tie ball game in Muncie.
I was wondering where you were going with that, but it totally worked.
I landed it.
Welcome back to Muncie, Indiana. This has been a year of firsts in the MAC. 6 different programs with a first-year head coach. Eddie George, certainly the headliner, former All-Pro NFL running back, former Ohio State Buckeye. But Mike Yuremovich and Mark Carney, 2 first-year head coaches in action tonight in MACtion here in Muncie, Indiana, in a tie ball game after Kent State forced a quick 3-and-out after they did not get it on a 4th and 8, scored a touchdown quickly after. And these 2 head coaches leading resurgent programs in year 1 at the helm, Dustin Fox, both explicitly told us coming into this game how important this week was.
Kicking team, number 7. That's his first of the game toward ejection.
To their progress to get back to a bowl game, which neither program has been to since 2021.
Well, it would be huge for either one of these programs to get back on track. For Kent State, Matt, not only get to a bowl game, they haven't won a road game in 18 attempts. The last 18 tries on the road they've lost straight.
Last road win was November 26, 2022 at Buffalo. Meanwhile, Ball State has yet to lose a home game this year. All 3 wins have come here in Muncie. Flip it to TJ Horton. Gains 1.5.
Matt, do want to give a little love to this Kent State defense tonight because they've been battered this year. And they've been beaten up. They've given up 465 yards a game defensively, 130th in the country. Tonight, just 116 yards. So they've really bowed up. And these guys are playing hard. I mean, the way that they run to the football, they've earned my respect. Pursuit is excellent.
Kyle Kelly looking pretty good, moving the pocket there and flipping it out to Donovan Hamilton, his redshirt freshman wide receiver from Fishers, Indiana. Kelly, though, still favoring that right leg as he did on the opening drive of this half.
The question is, like, this 3rd and short right here, this is where he would typically run the football. Will they go back to it again? Oh, does he get it with the second effort? It was going to be close. I don't think he's going to get it.
The spot looks to be just short. Ball at midfield, maybe a yard to get this first down. And it looks like Mike Yuremovich is going to keep his offense on the field. This will be their first 4th down conversion attempt of the game.
Let's go to the Matt Schumacher analytics department. What's it say? It says go.
They have converted 60% of their 4th down tries this year. And movement up front. Both sides pointing at each other.
There's more points from the defense.
Spoken like a defensive guy.
We used to practice it. We'd practice the point.
Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State national champ. Dustin Fox, here's the call.
Offside with contact. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
This probably could have gone either way. I think up front, Tristan Cook, 70, definitely moved early, but did not warrant the flag.
Now 8 penalties on Mark Carney's Golden Flashes, and how many have we seen that have been pivotal, drive-extending penalties for the opposition? Fake it to Horton. Here's Kelly on a keeper. Battered through 2 tacklers, gained 3 or 4. Mason Woods ultimately brought him down.
Gains 2 on the play. 2nd and 8.
This has been a fast-moving game with 2 teams that have kept it on the ground more often than not. And you start to think about how many possessions each offense will have left. Nearing 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Tied at 10. 2nd and 8. Kelly into the flat. Horton with room has a first down. Tackled at the 30.
That'll move the chains for a Ball State first down.
It's one of those eye discipline plays where Kent State just gets caught looking in the backfield. The play action just catches Kent State's defense off guard. Wide open to the flat is Ashley.
Kelly evading pressure, cuts past one man. That's the best we've seen him move in the second half, and now late flags come in.
That's going to be on Ball State, and that's a costly penalty.
All night long there has been sporadic extracurricular activity, and our officiating crew getting together on it.
They've been both teams chirping down there on the field, no pun intended.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 89. That's his first of the game. 20 ejection. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
But look how big of a penalty this is, Matt. You just got to be a little smarter than that. It's late. The play's over. You can't take someone off the pile. I mean, you're standing right there, and you know that everyone around has stopped.
Costly penalty for one of the fewest penalized teams in the country. Makes it 2nd and 19. Here's Eric Weatherly. He is stacked up and thrown down out across the 35-yard line. They are nearing field goal range for DC Pippin, who again tonight is getting his first start. In place of Carson Homer, decided to make a change coming out of the bye week. The longest of Pippin's career at Southeast Missouri State, an FCS program, was 54. Mike Juremovich told us they'd be comfortable letting him go from 50 or 51 tonight, given the win. 3rd and 13. Kelly took a shot, and that pass behind his intended target, Keon Magwood.
Well, and now the Drew Cassins penalty proves to be costly, because now on 4th and 13, a decision's made here by Ball State, and they're going to bring out Pippin, who again is kicking for. I mean, he's kicked before, but really this year he's now been given this opportunity to kind of be the guy, at least this week.
This will be from 50 on the right hash.
Juremovich said 50-51 is about his range. We'll see.
Kick is away from DC. Pippin has the leg, and it is no good.
Sails off to the left, Matt, and now Kent State gets the ball back. They get off the field, and essentially we've got a tie ball game here as we've got 35 seconds left in the third quarter. And the momentum shifts now because of that penalty. We will point back to that if Kent State's able to come back and win this game, because it was going to be 1st and 10.
And even if they hadn't moved another yard,
it was going to be 2nd and 5.
Even if they hadn't moved another yard, the ball would have been spotted at the 24 to kick that field goal. Instead, it was at the 34, and a miss. And now Kent State on the ensuing drive. To Shields, flips it out. Room to run on the near sideline. A 1st down gain for the Golden Flashes.
Guess who?
Pickup of 12 for DeRealist Clark. First time we've called his name tonight.
Obviously, we know that DeRealist Clark is got one of the most unique names in college football. He's been on the all-name list every year, but he's become a player. You know, with these kickoff returns and his dynamic athletic ability, you want to get the ball in his hands if you can.
Gavin
Garcia, a run of 4, takes us to the 4th quarter.
This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Ties the game at 10 in the 3rd. And now driving to take their first lead of the game in Muncie with 1 quarter to play on a midweek MACtion night in Muncie. Back in Muncie for the start of the fourth quarter. Matt Schumacher, Dustin Fox with you. Ball State led 10-zip to start the game. And Kent State has scored 10 unanswered. Driving with the ball at midfield after a missed 50-yard field goal by Ball State, which could have given them the lead. DeShields delivers a beautiful pass over the middle to Wayne Harris, who's been the top target tonight for the Golden Flashes in a pickup of 30.
Matt,
deep inside enemy territory.
The velocity of the throws by DeShields is just incredible. I mean, he throws that. It's a beautiful throw. Like, the ball, the way it comes out of his hand is a tight spiral. It's catchable. When we talked with Mark Carney this week and we were asking him about like some of the strengths of DeShields, he said he's just a baller.
Pressure off the edge. They run away from it with Garcia. Somehow stayed on his feet, turned that into a positive play. Looked dead to rights in the backfield.
Tell me if you think that I'm wrong for this comparison. As there's an injured player on the field. Does Gavin Garcia have a little of that Cam Scadaboo in him? The way that they kind of bounce off and just look for contact as opposed to avoiding contact?
Gavin Garcia, 5'7", 192, his second year leading this program in rushing, and he's right now leading them deep in enemy territory. A chance for Kent State to take the lead. Big slate on ABC this weekend. Two of the last undefeated teams remaining playing in top 20 showdowns. A&M and Missouri, BYU, Texas Tech, and the nightcap LSU in Tuscaloosa. 2nd and 6. Low throw is caught right at the sticks, and they will move the chains for Kent State, whose offense looks totally different in the second half under first-year starter Drew DeShields.
Well, the only problem here, Matt, is they've had 5 trips to the red zone tonight in just 3 points. This season, they've had 8 trips coming into this game. So they've moved the ball. They just have stalled down here in the red zone.
Penalties, missed field goals, turnovers on downs. They have plagued Kent State, but their defense, like they did 2 weeks ago, And the comeback victory over Bowling Green has given them a chance in the second half.
Well, yeah, and for all those miscues, Ball State made the biggest miscue tonight. And that was the personal foul penalty that killed their last drive when they had all the momentum and they were looking to go down, and they would have had the ball, you know, 2nd and 5 at the 25-yard line. Instead, they end up having to settle for a long field goal attempt, which they missed.
There's Jordan Newman on the carry, trying to stretch it, cannot. Taken down at the line of scrimmage.
I don't understand why they don't throw on 1st and 2nd down. DeShields is out here slinging the rock around the yard, and then all of a sudden now it's like run for a yard, and now it's 3rd and long. Obvious passing down. Sure, a field goal is great, but a touchdown, I mean, it's a 10-10 game in the 4th quarter. Points are at a premium here. A touchdown would feel like the game could be over maybe. Got Martin there at the bottom of the screen. He's been a go-to guy.
Instead, it's Garcia cutting it up near the goal line, and they will give him the first down. But there is a flag.
2nd down.
And isn't that on theme tonight for Mark Carney's team?
Correction, 3rd down.
Okay, he said 2nd down. It's 3rd down. It is, no doubt.
Their 9th penalty.
And boy, they have all come at inopportune times.
Instead of goal to goal from inside the 3, it is 3rd and 12. Cade Wolford lined up in the backfield. They sent him out wide. Design run. DeShields is tackled promptly by Joey Stendler, their preseason All-MAC linebacker. And now the kick unit forced to come on for Mark Carney's team.
3 yards. 4th down.
Will Harisco from 28 trying to take the lead for the first time tonight. And it is good. Kent State with 13 unanswered. After trailing 10-0 to start the game in Muncie, they lead with 11:07 to play. Back in Muncie, where Drew DeShields, the first-year starting quarterback, has led a 10-point comeback. Dustin Fox, the Golden Flashes have scored 13 unanswered.
Well, last week it was 18 unanswered against Bowling Green in a quarter and a half. DeShields has been awesome. I really do like this young man. Watching him play the quarterback position, you know, it's refreshing. I mean, throws a really nice ball. He's athletic, and then on top of it, Matt, the guy's come back from 3 ACL tears, back-to-back seasons. So he's finally healthy. And by the way, the last 2 years, you said this earlier, Matt, first play of fall camp. He's out for the year, the last 2 years. So now he's healthy and having an opportunity here to have Kent State's best year really since 2021. Have a chance tonight to snap an 18-game road losing streak. A lot on the line for the Golden Flashes. And listen, I live in Northeast Ohio. Kent State hasn't been talked about much over the last decade. It's nice and refreshing, frankly, to hear people talk about Kent State and Ball State. Both these teams have a chance to potentially get bowl eligible. In this game, far from over. 11 minutes to go. Kyle Kelly comes back out with his offense. They moved the ball last drive. They just stalled because of penalties.
Missed a 50-yard field goal on their last drive that could have made this a 13-13 game. Quay Ashley straight ahead for a gain of 3 or 4. Kyle Kelly has been dealing with something lingering with his right leg. What exactly, we're unsure, but twice in this second half he has gone to the injury tent and returned. He's been hobbly at times, and at other times he's looked completely fine.
It's called adrenaline.
Swing pass out to Quay Ashley. Leads this team in rushing and all-purpose yards. Some extracurriculars after he took a shot.
There was a player on Kent State's sidelines.
He's
Matt,
down.
If you see this replay, like he was, I didn't see the replay yet, so I don't want to judge if it was egregious, but he was pushed to the ground by a player who was not in the game.
And I believe it's still Quay Ashley who is down after he took that shot from a player on the Kent State sideline. Here's another look.
Yeah, somebody who's not in the game ends up pushing him down. Or maybe he's trying. No, he's trying to catch him. See, I'm thankfully I wasn't trying to be too quick to judge. He was trying to catch him, but he slips.
Break in the action in Muncie. We will take it with him. Quay Ashley being tended to on the Kent State sideline. A 3rd and 4 upcoming for Ball State. Back in Muncie, where moments ago Quay Ashley was helped off the field without his helmet and straight into the injury tent on the Ball State sideline after he took a pop. Incidental, of course, on the Kent State sideline, a play that ran into their sideline. And now 3rd and 5 upcoming with TJ Horton, their backup running back, who's gotten a lot of run tonight, in the backfield with Kyle Kelly, who has also been hobbled in the second half. Kelly buying time with his legs, shoots it over the middle. There was contact and no flags.
Wow, I'm surprised that there's not a flag. Cordoba, 21, was the one that runs through the wide receiver, Magwood. And you can see he's holding his back. I mean, he was hitting the back way early. Way early. I mean, that is
egregious.
Egregious as egregious can get in terms of pass interference. I mean, he has no chance to catch that pass, and there are boos here. And I think that the fans are upset and have a right to be upset. That should be an automatic first down.
Ball State, last 6 offensive drives, 5 has resulted in punts, and the 6th a missed 50-yard field goal. Their offense has completely stalled. Meanwhile, Drew DeShields has completely flipped this game. 13 unanswered points for Kent State, whose program has created history this year for all the right reasons. Snapped a 21-game losing streak in the season opening win against Merrimack. That at the time was the longest active losing streak in the country. They beat their first FBS opponent with a win against UMass for the first time since 2022, and now trying to win their first road game since that 2022 season. And the running of Gavin Garcia will help a first down.
Well, the problem now is Ball State can't seem to slow down Kent State outside of the red zone. You know, things sort of get tight down there, and they've had some issues. But out here in the field, I mean, Kent State has really moved the ball basically between the 30s.
There's a trick play, set up downfield, is intercepted. First takeaway of the game. Ball State wins it back, and it's the 3rd pick in as many games for JoJo Lewis.
Here's the throw, and a great job turning the hips by Lewis. But if you look from the all-22, watch DeShields here, Matt, in the flat. Look how open he is in the flat. There's no one around him. If that throw was made right there, how many yards can he run? 20?
Mark Carney's offense has been aggressive this year. Remember, we saw wide receiver Dorilus Clark throw a game-winning touchdown pass 2 weeks ago against Bowling Green. That pass from Sebastian Brown results in the first turnover. Check down to Cassins. And last year's lead tight end at Butler University gets a first down pickup for Ball State.
Trick plays can be feast or famine, Matt. And when you throw a pick like that, Ball State's going to use it as momentum here. And they're going a little bit more with tempo offensively.
Kyle Kelly with a design run, cuts it back upfield. A flag comes in the middle of that play. Ball came out at the end. The line judge is going to say he was down. And we'll wait to see this get cleaned up on the field.
Holding offense. Number 66. 10-yard penalty. First down.
A couple of costly offensive penalties in the second half for Mike Uramovich's team, whose offense at times this year has looked spectacular. Think back to that win against defending MAC champs Ohio early in the MAC season. They hung 42 on Akron. And at other times this year, they have struggled to get going. Meanwhile, they are without Quay Ashley, who has been helped to the locker room with less than 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Kelly took a shot out across the 25.
He picks up 8, though, on first down. Design quarterback run, and as banged up as he is, Matt, they keep running him.
He has been one of the top rushing quarterbacks in the MAC behind only Ohio's Parker Navarro.
You know, he's listed at 6'2", 196, but he's a light framed quarterback. You know, so he's not built to take a ton of hits. He's wide open, Matt.
On the swing pass to Maximus Webster. Wow, just the 3rd reception of the year for the redshirt sophomore tight end.
Probably a reason why he's wide open. Not getting targeted, not going to see this guy on film running a lot of routes down the field. And Webster just sneaks out right down the sideline, and everyone's keying in on Kelly. Kelly's been the offense. He's the guy that, you know, is going to take off and go. Well, they kind of hit him with the old okey doke right there.
Webster had 13 receiving yards coming into the game. That one went for 19. Ball out near midfield now for Ball State. Kelly again. Nothing doing on that run. They'll give him forward progress at the line of scrimmage.
No gain on the play.
Kyle Kelly has a cold plunge at his house.
He has run it 19 times in this game, despite whatever is bothering his right leg. And we saw him hobbled on the opening drive of the second half, but he has remained in this all-important game for both teams. Underneath to his favorite tight end, Kobe Gross.
That's a flag, yeah.
And there it is. It will go against C.J. Young, their leading tackler, and Mike linebacker.
He's a yard out of bounds and hip tosses him.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Penalties have been costly for both teams. It's been the story, really, because it's been momentum gained by one team, and then they lose it with a penalty. And now, that's the right call.
First and 10, Ball State from the Kent State 34.
10 penalties for 78 yards for Kent State. And now the ball in plus territory for Ball State, who is yet to score in the second half. Had that missed 50-yard field goal a couple of drives ago. They are again nearing field goal territory for DC Pippin. Horton up the middle, stuffed at the line of scrimmage by the true freshman safety Joel Cordoba. How are you playing the rest of this drive if you're Mike Uremovich and Ball State?
Well, to be honest with you, it's been pretty effective with kind of the 1-2 punch. Like they've hit you with the run, and if they get stopped, which the first or second down, then they come back with a pass. And Kelly seems to be kind of dialing in here a little bit.
Fake the jet sweep. Kelly rolls, and that ball tipped almost.
Boy, it's always
in the lane of their defense.
Matt, it's a dangerous proposition when you're rolling to your right and you're throwing back across just even a little bit, because that ball has all that momentum as receiver. 85 there, Anthony's trying to make the catch, and it contorts his body, and they're very lucky that was not intercepted by a Kent State defender.
For their last 6 on third down. Kelly could not get anywhere near the line to gain, but he's very close to the edge of field goal range for DC Pippin, and they will bring him back out.
And luckily for Ball State, take a look at the flags on the goalposts. And the flags, the MAC flags here at the stadium, at Schumann Stadium, they were whipping about an hour ago. Right now, relatively no wind for this field goal attempt. Going in the opposite direction, he missed the last attempt in the third quarter, so well within his range.
50-yarder from the right hash to tie the game at 13. Pippen's kick is away. And it is no good. Short. And Kent State stays in front, 13-10.
Kent State takes over 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
Well, it's getting greater later, partner.
They made the change at the kicker position coming out of the bye week, opting to go with DC Pippen, the transfer from the FCS level, who has hit from 54, but tonight not enough leg.
Now here's the interesting thing to keep in mind here. 4-minute offense, right, for Kent State. Want to run the clock, get first downs, couple first downs, make Ball State use timeouts trying to get the ball back. Kent State, how often are they in front? How often do they play with a lead? So this is going to be a unique proposition for the Golden Flashes, trying to close out a ball game.
It has been a year of firsts under first-year head coach Mark Carney. Remember, this program won just one game over the last 2 seasons. Carney's 3 wins this year have created a lot of history in Kent, Ohio, and they're trying to do some more tonight. They've lost 18 straight games on the road. Last win came before Mark Carney took the OC job ahead of the 2023 season. 2nd and 12. That ball was batted down to the line of scrimmage by DeJuan Eccles Jr., one of their strong pass rushers. Now if you're Ball State, you're thinking 3 and out here on 3rd and 12.
Yeah, and because of that batted down pass, clock stops. Save a timeout. They're behind the sticks. But DeShields has been money in these situations tonight.
Has time to pass. Dart over the middle to Wolford, who did not have a catch.
He's short
in the first half. With as aggressive as Mark Carney has been tonight, you would think they'll go for it, and they will.
It's just a tremendous throw. I mean, that ball has very little room for error. And then here we go. Big play. DeShields is not under center.
Wildcat formation. It's Donovan Delaney. Fumbled the snap. Brought down in the backfield, and it's a stop for Ball State. Their 4th down stop of the game.
And the second, that's not a turnover, it's a turnover on downs. But the second time in as many possessions, a trick play essentially has cost them. Interception by a wide receiver throw. And now a little wildcat on 4th and 1. Bad snap. Jordan Newman can't get on the football. And now Ball State has it 1st and 10, 3:45, down 3. They're looking to win the game. Wow. Can you say Maction?
There is TJ Horton, who will get the lion's share of the carries going forward with Quay Ashley, their leading rusher, in the locker room with an apparent injury suffered at the beginning of the quarter. Kyle Kelly playing banged up.
Ball State wanted a late flag there as Horton was tackled to the ground, and the whistle, it seemed like the whistles blew, and then he was taken to the ground. So obviously no call. But things are getting real chippy down there.
With 2 missed 50-yard field goals, you got to think the target line is well inside the 30 if you're Mike Removich. Kelly dancing, taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Jamon Mathis with his 3rd tackle for a loss tonight.
Well, Ball State needs to hurry up here. If they're going to try and save all these timeouts here, and obviously they're going to go for it on 4th down regardless. You want to be able to have an opportunity to get the ball back if you don't get a 1st down. Boy, they're taking all day.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts, 2-minute timeout looming here in Muncie in a 3-point game.
I can't believe they huddled there.
4-man rush. Kelly underneath hits Cam Anthony, who is upended just inside the 30. Do they try to go for it here quickly on 4th down? Doesn't look like they're going to.
Well, they'll let this go to the 2-minute warning, I think.
And then talk about it.
Yeah. Or no, did they go quick?
Boy, there was some movement up front there on both sides, but the 2-minute timeout came first. Major 4th and 2 looming in Muncie in a 3-point game. Back in Muncie, where Ball State has attempted 2 50-yard field goals in the 4th quarter by D.C. Pippen. Both no good. One was wide left, the other short just a couple of minutes ago. Because of that, you would think Mike Yuremovich, Dustin Fox leaving his offense on the field for this 4th and 2.
What's your best 2-point conversion play? Draw it up, dial it up, and then you got an extra 25 yards of room to work with.
Out of a 2-minute timeout, a flip hits Cam Anthony. Touchdown, Ball State! Cards take the lead.
Misdirection. Everybody from Kent State thinks that the play is going to the right. It's essentially a naked, and you find the tight end, Cam Anthony, on the backside, wide open. I would say, did they score too soon? And you'd say, well, Kent State's offense can't really move the ball. Well, they can move it quick. That's the one thing they can do. Kent State's offense, this isn't Sean Lewis's flash fast offense, but they can score in a hurry. That's how they've done it a lot this season. But man, what a back and forth game that has had so many twists and turns. There's a look at Anthony right there in the route that he's going to run coming across the backside of the formation. And it's almost like a max protection with the offensive line. No one's going to be coming from the backside to pressure Kelly. And so he drops it right in there in an easy throw and catch on a 4th and 2. Like I said, kind of a 2-point conversion play. Like that would have been a great 2-point conversion play. On the back end, you had an extra 25 yards of room to work with. You don't have to worry about that, you know, just 10 yards of the end zone. Beautiful play design in Ball State. They've got the lead.
With their first score of the second half. Kent State had scored 13 unanswered after trailing 10-0 to start the game, and Mike Yuremavich's offense with the play of the game. And now Mark Carney's team, with all 3 timeouts and 1:53 to play, will receive the kickoff down 4. Short kick. Returned at the 5 by Darius Clark. Makes 2 men miss. Oh, and he's dragged down to the 35. One of the most electric return men in the country had a seam to the house and was brought down by Jalen Jones. A potential game-saving tackle on special teams.
Watch the hit right here at about the 20-yard line coming down the field. One of the coverage men by Ball State. I think it was Sam Feeney, 48. And the pads are cracking in Kent State here. Great field position, plenty of time, all their timeouts.
Drew DeShields has an open man, flicks it downfield. He was looking for Deshaun Martin. Just a half a foot out of his reach.
Game of inches. This is so close to being a Sports Center top 10 play and an unbelievable effort by Martin. Look at this.
Might have hit his gloves.
Oh, I think it definitely got a fingertip or 2. But you can see the arm strength. Drew DeShields. I'm telling you what, this guy is a heck of a quarterback.
13 for 22, nearly 200 yards passing. That one is complete to Ardell Banks Jr., the second-year Kentucky transfer, gain of 9. Makes it 3rd and 1 with 90 seconds to play. All 3 timeouts for Kent State.
Gain of 9. It is 3rd down.
Got to get the first down here. I mean, they're taking a lot of time, and they've got 3 timeouts.
And Mark Carney is irate. He was calling for timeout well before it got to 1:15, and he finally got it.
Let's see if they add any more time on the clock. You're right, he was fired up, sprinting down the sideline trying to get a timeout. Let's take a look back and see how we got here, Matt.
Well, it has been a wild 4th quarter. Ball State twice had chances to hit 50-yard field goals, missed both. There was a flea flicker that resulted in the only turnover of the game, a pass by Sebastian Brown, intercepted by JoJo Lewis. And then this, a botched trick play on 4th down, direct snap to Jordan Newman, set up Ball State in plus territory, and this touchdown pass from Kyle Kelly to Cam Anthony on 4th and 2, his 2nd touchdown of the year, and the only score of the second half for Ball State. They lead at 17-13 on a 3rd and 1 for Kent State out of the timeout. On the ground to Garcia. He was stuffed behind the line of scrimmage, and a 4th down upcoming.
Well, and this is the ball game, Matt, because if they don't get the first down with only 2 timeouts left, it'll be it.
They go to the line quickly. Garcia plows ahead for a 1st down. Boy, another gutsy call. No timeout. Hurry to the line, back to the ground, and they move the chains.
And my thought right there was, because we've seen it all day, is would Kent State have a false start penalty? Because they're trying to go so fast. Doesn't matter now.
DeShields buying time. Flips it downfield, incomplete. He was taken to the ground by DeJuan Eccles Jr.
2nd down.
Young man who had never taken a snap collegiately prior to this year. Dustin talked about it earlier in the second half. 3 straight seasons with a torn ACL, all the same knee, but just kept coming back. The persistence and the resilience of this young man, and now leading a program in a resurgent season. Needs a touchdown. Flips it underneath. Wayne Harris did not get to the line to get it.
You got to use the timeout here. Got to use the time. What are they doing?
Way too much time coming off the clock here.
You've got to call timeout.
Under 30 seconds to play. Still both timeouts for Kent State. Play action. DeShields throws. And he got it out of play. Boy,
Matt, you wasted
maybe
20
seconds.
It was 40 seconds on the clock. If you call timeout there, you can settle down. It's a 3rd and 1. You can call 2 plays in the huddle. That's just not. That's not the way you want to draw it up.
Now with 19 seconds, assuming you get this, what do you have? Time for 3 plays, maybe
Max.
4?
Max. You'd have time for 3 plays if you were like near the red zone. You're at the 37-yard line.
Need 1 yard to extend the game. Jordan Newman in the backfield. Fake it to him on 4th and 1. DeShields steps up and incomplete. Ball State is going to come back and win this football game. And there will be questions about the clock management late in the 4th quarter for Kent State, most certainly.
On that 2nd down reception that did not get out of bounds, a timeout has got to be called. Again, this is Mark Carney's first, go round with being a head coach and having to manage a game, and also trying to, like he's been an offensive coordinator, a quarterback coach. It's a little different when it's on you and you have to make these decisions. It's a learning moment for him, obviously. It's sad to see a great game end the way that it did, because, man, I think Kent State would have had a chance to make something out of this, and instead, Ball State steals the victory.
They had 1 second half score.
Yeah.
And it's the only score that mattered for Mike Yuremavich's team, who goes to 4-0 at home for the first time since 2013. And now their goals are all still in front of them. Bowl eligibility now just 2 wins away for Ball State.
No doubt. They play Eastern Michigan at home next week. They'll look to go to 5-0 at home this season. That'd give them their 5th win. And then, I mean, listen, they got to play Toledo and Miami to end the year. It's going to be tough to get one of those dubs, but you never know. Nonetheless, partner, heck of a job. #Maction.
First week of action in Muncie did not disappoint. For Dustin Fox, our entire ESPN crew, Matt Schumacher saying good night from Ball State, where the Cardinals win in comeback fashion, 17-13.